How much does VGK captain Mark Stone have left in the tank? Our discussion comes your way next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast, and please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon, and new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Chris, how much longer can VGK's Mark Stone last in this league? The last three seasons, I should say, 3 surgeries. He appeared in 136 games the past 3 seasons out of 243 games, a little better than half of the games. A couple of back surgeries, the lacerated spleen injury, and Stone this past season often looked like he was laboring on the ice. You had mentioned that when you went to games and you followed him around, and we both had the under on games played this past season, and he actually played better than we thought, appearing in 56 starts this past season before his spleen injury on February the 20th. When he took that hit by Trenton there against Nashville on February the 20th. He had 53 points in 56 games, and he was an overachiever. Is this a player that will wind up his career on LTIR? And I'm not being facetious here. I'm not, because remember now, he's got that long-term contract. 8 years they signed him to, so
two more years, 2 more seasons.
He's got 2 more seasons here. Can he last 2 more years? Physically,
Maybe. I mean, first of all, talking about his output right now, that's what matters right now. And when he's on the ice, he has been right around a point per game player since joining the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, 65 games, 63 points, 55 games, 61, 37, 30, 43, 38, 56, 53. It's like a football play right there. But point being is, on the ice, Stone has shown nothing that he's slowing down as far as skill regression goes. Now, we got the back issues. Mark Stone told me in a very kind of direct and borderline condescending manner that he's had 2 back surgeries. He's good to go. Well, he was right. I mean, I think his back held up pretty good. I mean, he looked like he was laboring and stuff. I mean, he looks like a 32-year-old who's had multiple back surgeries and other injury issues. I mean, I don't know what 32-year-old in the league necessarily is out there looking a lot better as far as skating ability and such, but I think Mark Stone has plenty left in the tank as far as his skills go, and I think he'll be pretty close to living up to his contract expectation from a point per game basis. Now, the injuries, like you said, he's played in basically 43% of the last 3 years of regular season games, something like that. That's a concern. Back issues, those don't go away. I don't care if you're a professional athlete under the best doctor care on the planet, or me and Tony, every now and then trying to crack our back up against a brick wall to get through the day. Pretty good. You like that?
I like that.
But, so that's the issue with Stone. And then the spleen injury. Maybe it's a freak injury. Maybe there's something. I don't know what's going on. I'm not a spleen expert, but I know a lot more about a spleen than I did this time last year.
Don't start mansplaining. Don't start mansplaining today.
That's it. That's what I got. But we'll see what happens. It just matters how his body responds at coming in at age, 32, 33 years old next season.
Okay. LTIR again, perhaps for Stone this season. Does he start the season on LTIR? He wasn't very effective. He had, I think, 1 goal right in the Dallas series. He was slow on the ice. My goodness, had no explosiveness. And he was
3 goals in Dallas. 3 goals, Tony. 3 goals.
Okay. So he was sort of effective. Yeah. Was he the leading scorer?
He might have been. He might have
Yeah.
been, actually.
Okay. He was in obvious pain. I forgot about the other two goals. That's okay. But remember, he was cross-checked in that series, and he just winced, and he was in some severe pain.
You ever
At
been
that point.
cross-checked by an NHL player? It hurts.
Oh no,
It
it's all
hurts.
good. It would actually break up the back today
It
and make
might.
it loosen it up a little. Yeah. But again, like we're gonna go at the end of this segment with over under on total games.
Yeah. Cool.
Remember last season at the start of the season, we thought that he might be platooned, and he could be slowing down to that level. And he did outpace everything, all the expectations that we had for him. I mean, if this guy can get 40 plus games and if he can play half of the games this upcoming season and be sort of effective,
More. Gotta be more. Has to be more.
well, it has to be. But how much more does his body withstand all of these surgeries? I mean, when you start off the book, did you see in that first chapter of the 9 golden surgeries, there was like an entire chapter on Mark Stone?
That's fair. I mean, could have a chapter in each of the last 3 books if we're going to write one for each season. I mean, listen, the spleen injury, it's weird. I don't know if the spleen is compromised for future hits. I have no idea how that aspect works out. But focusing on the back, Mark Stone was okay last year. He was okay. Yeah, he wasn't skating great at times. But again, he's 32 years old, 640 regular season games, 102 more regular season games. Dude's been on the ice for 740 NHL games. He's a warrior out there. He's a great two-way player. And he doesn't do it as much with skill and speed as much as he does just with his mind and being in the right place. And the effort he puts in between the blue lines, I think, is substantial to the longevity of his game. It's kind of like me growing up watching like a Marian Hossa. Hossa was a little more of a smoother skater with a higher scoring ceiling, but as Hossa's career got longer and longer, his defensive game got better and better, and that's what kept him in the NHL. Unfortunately, it was an odd, I believe, skin condition that slowed down his NHL career. He could have played into his 40s almost like a Jaromir Jagr or something like that. He was that type of player and in that good a condition. I don't think Mark Stone's going to play into his 40s, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I mean, I think Mark Stone, I mean, I'm hoping at least, I'm hoping his back issues are somewhat behind him. You look at wear and tear. I mean, let's look at this for a second. Okay, you have the 2020-21 COVID season. He plays all 55 of 56 regular season games there. And then he only plays 37, 43, and 56. So he 120. He has 210 regular season games, I think, approximately somewhere in that ballpark in the last 4 seasons. So he shouldn't have a lot of wear and tear on his body, at least, a lot more than a lot of other players who have played over 300 games in the last regular season.
Okay.
So we'll start there. Go ahead.
Okay, so look at Alec Martinez the last 2 years and just how his body has given out. And I think right now, to me at least, Mark Stone is on the verge again of just perhaps again landing on LTIR at some juncture this season. Okay, you have a line here, right? Will Mark Stone land on LTIR this season? What would you make that line at?
Will he land on LTIR? Oh,
yes. Minus what? 10,000? Minus 10,000?
If we're gonna play the odds in the last 3 years, that's how you got to do it, unfortunately.
Right.
I mean, it's probably more reasonably minus 500 or something like that, which is still pretty bad, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you get what I'm saying, right? And the Dallas series, again, 3 goals, but he was booed every time that he handled the puck in that series when he was in Dallas. I think they don't like me. I think something to that effect. He scored his first goal on a power play opportunity. VGK took advantage, perhaps, of his $9.5 million cap hit on LTIR, depending on how you look at it. And then a couple of seasons left here. I thought it might be 3 seasons, but I might be wrong here. It's 2. Okay. Could he become? Remember, here is a big issue of VGK signing all these players to long-term deals, and sooner or later it has to catch up. Could he become the first player in VGK history to not complete his long-term deal, his contract of 8 years, there that he signed in 2019. He
You
signed it in
got a no move
2019.
clause, so as far as the trade goes, that part of it's going to be pretty
Oh,
difficult.
they move him. They can move him all right from the ice to LTIR.
So so he finishes on LTIR. Is that like the Robin Leonard path? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, without a doubt. I'm going to take that. That's going to
I
be
don't know.
my bet.
I think you said are we setting a line for over under number of games for next season?
Okay, I'll tell you what mine is. I have over under games started for the upcoming season, and I have 49 and a hook, 49 and a half.
I'll snap over on that, and I'm a believer that he's going to have a healthy season. Going to want to be on the ice. Healthy season. I'm going 75 games for Mark Stone next year on the ice.
No, you're not. Be honest, man.
75 games.
You're going to take the over. So come on.
75 games. I'm snapping on over 49. I'm snapping on over 49. 75 might be a little flex in there, but I think he has his healthiest season in a while. I think the spleen injury was a freak occurrence. You can say whatever you want about the situation, and if he could have come back, fine, whatever. But that's a freak occurrence right there. That's like a bone injury. That's like taking a shot, off of your leg and it, chips a bone. You got to sit out and stuff like that. Same thing. The back held up, and now the Golden Knights are going to have a long off season. Stone obviously is going to rehab that. Who's going to have more motivation coming in the next year than Mark Stone on the Golden Knights?
Oh, I was going to say Jonathan Marchessault, but yeah, probably not the Golden Knights.
Marchessault, A or B, is A not going to be a Golden Knight, or B, you're going to have a fat bag, and we've seen how that works out sometimes after they get that contract.
No. I think he's motivated. We'll set a number here for whatever team he's on of amount of goals that he will score. He will score one more goal. Did you see? Okay. Again, whenever there is a stressful situation in VGK land, William Karlsson, they're planting stories now. Okay, we saw the Karlsson story about him and his wife having another child. Is that news? Big front page sports section news in other cities, for crying out loud. They're just trying to counter everything with Marchessault. I told you it was coming, right? It's in the VGK playbook.
You did.
It is in the VGK playbook, Mr. Golick.
It is.
I've got it. It's in the PowerPoint.
I'm not arguing. It was
and in
the
playbook.
Cordasco flexing right there. I get it.
Okay. I get it too. Coming up next, the NHL General Manager of the Year was named yesterday, and we will tell you if VGK's General Manager, Kelly McCrimmon, received some votes. We'll get to that next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. It is winner take all time in the National Basketball Association and in the NHL. And FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big, big win of your own. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on point spreads, money lines, player props, and much, much more. Hopefully, they put up a prop on number of games started for Mark Stone, because I will take the under next season. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, it's America's #1 sportsbook. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas, Tony Cordasco and Chris Golick. We appreciate everyone making us your first listen every day. Thanks so much for all those comments, good and bad. And on Friday, of course, we throw out all of your comments. Just use the hashtag WTF. Go to our @LockedOnVGK X account and leave your comments there, or on YouTube. Of course, please subscribe there. That is Locked On Golden Knights, Friday WTF. Saturday morning, it is the Chris and Chris Jr. show, which, of course, is taking over the nation in hockey news. So, for the second year in a row, the Dallas Stars general manager, Jim Nill, won the NHL's General Manager of the Year award, and it is well-deserved, as we know. Kelly McCrimmon.
Did he win? Or I thought they do.
Won.
I thought there's I thought they have to. I don't think it's actually. Was it actually announced as the winner, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I wasn't sure exactly how it worked at this point. Okay, I only cast my vote and I stopped watching.
Okay, so Kelly McCrimmon did in fact wind up 12th in the voting. Well-deserved there. Someone gave McCrimmon a second place vote. So he wound up with 3 points. Did he deserve that? Did he even deserve that for the VGK season? And by the way, remember, Shea Theodore got points, and that was someone said that they voted for him.
What, in the Norris or something like they talking about?
For the Norris. I can't even today. McCrimmon, is that well deserved to get a second place vote? And why? Why would he get a vote this year?
I mean, all right, let's look around him and what the teams have done. Obviously, Dallas has done what they did. Vancouver had a great shift. Florida improved their team despite being a Stanley Cup contender last year. Chris Drury, New York Rangers, same thing. Boston, I mean, you got to give a ton of credit to Sweeney, what's happening there. Barry Trotz has been cleaning house for the last, how long? A shovel day off for Winnipeg. I mean, I think that's underrated right there. They made so many big trades. It seemed like they were going to take a step backwards, and they were a dark horse cup contender, depending on who you talk to. Ken Holland, Edmonton, okay. Carolina, Danny Briere, Philly, I think maybe he should have a little more consideration. Chris McFarland, Colorado, they made some deadline moves, didn't end up working out. And then here's Kelly McCrimmon. Is Kelly McCrimmon warranted of a second?
Who voted for him?
My bad. I've been outed. No, I had influence in the Masterton. I didn't have any influence in this vote, so I'll say it like that. Who voted for him? I mean, I don't know. It's someone local, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I want to get myself in trouble.
Yeah, you don't want to get yourself in trouble.
I thought about getting myself in trouble. No, I mean, listen, McCrimmon, if the Golden Knights are still playing in the Stanley, here's the better question, Tony. If the Golden Knights are playing in the Stanley Cup Final right now, where does McCrimmon rank on this list? Because he obviously
11.
did make some huge moves at the deadline.
He made moves. Were they the best moves for this team?
Long term, I think long term, Noah Hannafin's great. And Hurdle, we're going to find out.
One bust that they don't talk. It's so crazy though. Why doesn't McCrimmon ever talk about what a clunker this was when they use that same amount of scouting there as they did with Barbashev? We watched 105 minutes of hockey in 2 days, and why not?
I mean, to be fair, I think if the Golden Knights were still in the playoffs, I think Mantha probably would have had an influence by now. But obviously, that's irrelevant at this point. It doesn't matter. But I like I said, I just wonder where McCrimmon, does McCrimmon vault to a finalist if the Golden Knights now? And also, we don't know when these votes came out. To be fair, if these votes are from the regular season, then I don't know. But let's just assume the Golden Knights were still in the Stanley Cup playoffs, in the Stanley Cup Final. Could you argue he's a finalist among
top 5,
Neil,
top
Alvin,
5.
and Zito?
Top 5.
Definitely top 6, top 7, I'd say.
Okay. It was the Lady Bing that someone had voted for Theodore and was just all over it. Why? I don't understand the quote media here. I wanted to talk a little bit about Barry Trotz and what he is building in Nashville. Even though they canceled the team's U2 outing, what do they go? Like 17 games, point streak, something like that, right? This season?
Yeah, it started on the YouTube thing. On the YouTube,
that was so funny.
That was
so funny because we were on that from the get-go on how they canceled the trip and everything. Remember, we were talking about it, and then other people picked up on that. But the thing about this Nashville club, did they have $26 million in cap space? I mean, they lose players like I think Bavillier, and they'll lose Jason Zucker. Zucker going to wind up here. They'll lose play. Is he going to come back home here? He'd be a perfect candidate for LTIR at some point, too. So he'll fit in just well.
Predators right now,
how much money?
$26 million is the number. I don't know.
They have $26 million.
UFAs,
not a ton of
Sherwood, Zucker. I mean, like you said,
there's not a lot of moves. They could make some moves, man.
They can. I mean, Barry Trotz, he hit the ground running. Got a lot of bad money off the books. They're still going to have some dead cap space for. I mean, they got buyout money up until 28, 29. $7 million on the books for this for the upcoming season 8.5, and then it drops to 3.5. So I mean, geez, 20, they're gonna 15, 18, 20, they're gonna about $24 million on dead cap or in buyouts for the next 5 seasons. That's a lot. So I mean, is that good usage of the cap space? Maybe. I mean, we'll see what type of step the Preds take. I mean, hey, they took Vancouver pretty deep in that series. It seemed like, they definitely could have had something going. So we'll see what happens. But Trotz has been a busy man. Down, or is it down in Nashville or over in Nashville, or is it up in Nashville? Depending
it's
on
up
who's
in
saying it.
Nashville. Up in Nashville is what Cassidy would say. We don't play very well up there.
Nashville could be north of Vegas.
So
Probably is north of Vegas, actually.
So
barely.
Slightly. It would be barely. Can you take out your ruler and just go across there during the break and
What's
just
a
see
ruler?
on your map?
What's a ruler?
Very good. Okay.
My
good
cassette tape. Let me go check it. Let me go get it.
Okay. VGK. That stout $300,000. That puts them over the cap right now. I mean, no, they're 300,000 under the cap with the money, the newfound money.
They're 6. It's instead of 5.9, it's 6.2 now. But like I said, that matters. I mean, it matters to the Golden Knights, and it's also
a
good
contract.
It's
a
good that
contract.
the business of the NHL. I mean, maybe a new equipment manager contract.
Oh, they're overhauling everything there in VGK land. Coming up next, we've got the Panthers taking care of business at home in the SCF. We'll get to that when we return right here on this Tuesday edition of Locked On Golden Knights. We are back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. We thank you so much. What's the wince for? What were you wincing at?
I scratched my leg and it hurts.
Oh, I thought you got cross-checked in the spleen.
I got cross. Yes.
There was a story.
My spleen is located directly on my kneecap, by the way.
People did not believe me. Well, could be. Some guy sneezed, okay? When I sneezed, I almost lost my spleen, but some guy literally sneezed, Chris, and he lost his colon. Just popped out. That was like a true story. I read it in the National Enquirer. True story. Friday's WTF. And of course, get your comments in early and often. And Saturday, it is the Chris and Chris Jr. show, the YouTube exclusive.
My colon popped out after I sneezed in the National Enquirer. Good God. We're trying to line up sponsors right now, Tony. Cologuard will be a very good sponsor moving forward. So the Florida Panthers, they go up 2-0 in their series as that series now shifts to Edmonton following a 4-1 win by the Cats. I was wondering about travel. Okay, 5.5-hour flight. Would you much rather have your team leave at night, last night, and they're pretty much home, or do they get a good night's sleep, hop on a plane today, and then fly home? Which one would you? Building the travel day. I mean, I
know. Yeah, but I know. But some teams might much rather do that. You get home, you kind of relax. You're already home by now after the game last night. I don't know. 5.5-hour
sleep pattern screwed up, flying all night. I mean, players need rehab after the game. Some more than others.
Cassidy, remember, he would have them stay there and fly on the day after the game.
Yeah, which is what they should do. I mean, if it's Anaheim to Vegas, fine, get on the dang plane. But otherwise, no, take your time.
Two big goals by
the beach in the morning.
2 big goals by the player that should have been a Golden Knight. Evan Rodriguez. Talked about him yesterday. Dude, you remember me just campaigning for him?
We did talk about him over a year ago. Something like that, yeah.
Yes, over a year ago. I said at the trade deadline, pick this guy up. He's a good complimentary guy. I thought that would fit in well in Vegas. And they couldn't even sign him in the offseason. And he's only at about $3 million. And he's got 3 goals in the playoffs.
You see, only $3 million, like it's like the Golden Knights have.
They have $3 million right now. What salary cap in Vegas? What are you talking about?
Looks like he got a 3 times 4 deal. So good for Rodriguez.
First ever time. Okay, get this, a little trivia for you. first time ever, there will be an Evan, first name Evan, on the cup, either Bouchard or Rodriguez. And
It's fun.
I mean, last year was the first time that someone named the other guy had his name engraved on the cup, called the other guy. I've never seen that before. The other guy for VGK.
The series is getting interesting as far as physicality and everything. And you have national hockey writers out there like basically saying what's happening is almost too much as far as players getting choked out, speared in the family
In the
jewels.
spleen. In the spleen.
Check in the spleen. You got the elbow, you got the kneeing major and everything. And this is, I hate to say this is playoff hockey, like an old I don't know what wording I'm looking for, but this is what playoff hockey is. It's ferocious, it's mean, it's not for the faint of heart. And what I will say is hockey fans are enjoying this. Hockey fans who maybe are casual fans are tuning in now because of this. And people who don't support hockey, they're seeing the highlights of all this. They're definitely going to be watching the next game on Thursday night, open to see more of this.
Wondering if Caitlin Clark will be in the lineup.
Yeah, exactly. And then someone's going to complain in Chicago, and the rest is going to be that. So I mean, it's a fun series. It's interesting. McDavid's out there throwing punches. I mean, that's always nice.
Kachuk almost went, and McDavid did not back down. He didn't back down.
No, I mean, he threw a punch. It's good. I mean, but does that take McDavid away from his game now? I mean, McDavid's getting jumped out there a little bit, which is good. That's part of the game, and that's part of the Cup final. And I mean, you get a chance to get a few in on McDavid. That's what you do. No different than if it was the Golden Knights and the Oilers in the Stanley or in the conference semifinal or conference final. Pardon me. Be the same thing. That's what they should be doing. And I guess Edmonton's running out of cliches right now. I guess the first cliche was, okay, get a split. Okay, that doesn't happen. Now we've moved on to you're not in trouble until you lose a home game.
Yeah.
And then if Edmonton loses game 3, well, the series isn't over until it's over.
I think it could be tied up at 2 apiece. I think it could be tied up at 2 apiece very easily coming back.
I hope
Edmonton.
So. I really hope so.
And this Florida Panthers team living large. I mean, okay, so everything has got to go right. We saw this a season ago with the Golden Knights. For you to win a Stanley Cup, everything has got to go right. So you have the situation.
And then luck after that. Everything has to go right. Then you have to have luck.
You have to have puck luck. Oh, geez. I hate that. Okay.
Luck in general, not puck luck.
But
luck in general.
there was tremendous luck on the goal last night as Mikkola, he shoots the puck on it. It was almost an own goal. And Bobrovsky has to kick the puck out, starts the break, and Mikkola finishes on the other end. I mean, it's insane in hockey how quickly the tide will turn, because they could have been down. They could have given up a couple of goals at that point, and instead they get their first goal of the night. And then we had the 2 Evan Rodriguez goals in that contest. But it's insane how quickly the fate just changes so fast. So
reminds me, I think it was game 2 or the second home game where the Golden Knights, I believe they were down two goals to the Stars, and they tied the game up in the second period. But Logan made an absolute brilliant kick save, and I think the Golden Knights scored either a 4-on-4 or a shorthander, a shorty, and I think it was Eichel right after that. And that was the loudest I think I've seen T-Mobile erupt for maybe a non-Stanley Cup circumstance, as far as just a goal and how quick it got down. So it reminds me of that, definitely. And then also with the luck side of it, I mean, you go back, how many goals, especially in when the Golden Knights put up a 9 spot on the Panthers last season in the clinching game, how many of those goals just happened because it was their nights, and not just maybe that game, but in that series, in the entire playoff. I mean, just what happens. It's luck, it's puck luck, it's fate, it's the hockey gods choosing you in that circumstance, and it's unexplainable sometimes. And credit the Panthers, you don't get yourselves in that spot if you're not playing great hockey, though.
Do we see a fine or a suspension today for Leon Draisaitl on the hit on Barkov to the head? Let it go. Let it be.
I mean, you let everything go at this point, and I don't know if that's the right answer, but you got players being literally choking out and tapping out there.
He tapped out.
Yeah, I mean and I think the second he tapped, I don't know who the player was. I think the second he tapped, I think that the player realized, okay, and like you saw his arm like give up a little bit after that. So I guess a little bit of credit for the player realized that he had crossed the line in that moment. But I mean, listen, I mean the knee didn't even look that it was bad. I don't think there was intent for a knee-on-knee hit there, but both refs' arms shot out right away. So, I mean, obviously the review validated that. I don't think it was like intent or egregious. Did that player ever come back that game, by the way, that got kneed, or did he miss the rest of the game?
No, he was back.
Okay, there's not going to be a suspension.
He came
there's
back.
Not going to be a suspension then. And
not on that one. The bigger hit was to the head by Draisaitl.
I saw that. I mean, he chicken winged him a little bit. I get it. And, but I mean, again, if you're going to suspend Draisaitl for the elbow, then the choking thing should get looked at and everything else. And, at this point, honestly, go NASCAR. NASCAR used to try, and every time something happened on the track where someone got spun intentionally, NASCAR for a long time was trying to do all these little petty fines and stuff. They never responded. So NASCAR took the other route. They just let the drivers, to a degree, do whatever the heck they want out there. And then all of a sudden you realize you have to answer for your actions if you keep doing this. So, I mean, NHL, take a page out of NASCAR's book. Stanley Cup Final, unless someone is out there going head hunting with their stick or something like that, I mean, I know the Draisaitl hit was bad, but there's 2 or 3 things the other way that could have happened as far as player safety looking at it. So let it all go. Let the players figure it out on the ice. They have 4 months to heal up after this is over.
You know what's been crazy? So I'm going to take a little bit of a shot at ESPN/ABC because they're very slow with their camera work. So you'll see like a tie up in the corner.
They were preaching like a brand new experience too. Like I remember seeing that.
What?
Like they were selling like new technology and stuff before the final started.
So they'll show, the puck is jammed up in the corner, and away from the puck on the other end of the ice, there's some action there, some activity between Kane and Tkachuk, and they're still frozen there on the corner, and the guys are just skating away. They broke them up. They never show the other action. They're just slow.
They don't even show it coming out like going into a commercial break. There could be a huge scrum, and they'll there was something.
It was pretty bad.
Happened. Oh, it was the Pietrangelo elbow in the playoffs where I don't think they even showed the replay going to commercial break. Like that's just bad. Just bad TV. It's just bad TV. Call it what it is. ESPN's a joke when it comes to hockey, I guess.
A couple of Tony tidbits today. Okay, I don't know where that came from, but did you see Darnell Nurse is minus 15 in the playoffs?
He's gotten better.
And the record is minus 16 by Sam Reinhart's dad from back in the day.
That's funny.
And minus 16, but minus 15 is just
He's going to get to minus 20, I think, before this thing's done.
He might be,
and they still could win the series, to be fair. But
and then is Stuart Skinner starting to wear down a little bit? Do you think perhaps they could recall Jack Campbell for you? Sorry, man, I had to do that.
I mean, listen,
Jack Campbell buried in the minors.
What's that?
Remember, they buried him in the minors.
I know, and he didn't look good in the minors either.
No.
I mean, I saw him a bunch playing against the Silver Knights. And
Sorry about that.
It wasn't good.
I caught you off guard.
No. Right. But I mean, Stuart Skinner.
I don't want your spleen to pop out.
Edmonton's got 1 goal this series and 0 power play goals. You take away Edmonton's power play, that's kind of their kryptonite right now. That's kind of their kryptonite. And, well, they're 0 for 6 right now. They're 0 for 6.
Kryptonite should be the VGK offseason theme song with the spin doctors. They're spinning things. Spinning.
Kryptonite is 3 doors down.
No, it's the spin doctors, dude. No? All right, we'll go.
It's a terrible Superman. It's an awful song. Terrible song.
All right, just Google it.
Spin doctors are fun.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially those that stayed to the very end.
Pearl Jam song too, by the way. Anyway, okay.
To the very end on today's show, our everydayers. Thank you so much. We appreciate all of you. Fridays is WTF, What the Friday. Don't get your mind out of the gutter. And Saturdays, it's the Chris and Chris Jr. Show, the YouTube exclusive. Please subscribe there and keep all those comments coming on the tube and on the X. From my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please take care. Please.